Yes, it's the Anything Goes podcast, man. It's your boy, Sean Peoples. I'm here with my brother, Mr. Razor. I'm here with my brother, Demby. Yo, people, if you like the vibes, you like our movement, like, subscribe, share, man. Comment in the comment section, man. Hit the notification bell so you can keep up with everything that we got going on. And then climb up in the community tab and vote. We got some stuff up there we want you to vote on. We want to hear your opinion, man. Just climb up in the community tab. Let us know what you're thinking about. You can even drop a comment up there if you want to. But anyway, yo, I'm here with my brothers, man. Yo, Demby, what's popping, my brother? How everything rocking with you, G?
All is good, man. Everything is way up, man. Can't stop me now.
Yeah, man, you know how it go. Hey, Mr. Razor, what's good, my G?
What's good, bro? Skeet, what's up, man?
Yeah, we all here, man. We're here chilling. Hey, want to talk to y'all about something that we talk about all the time, man. Owning a home, investing in properties, and I want to give some of our people in our community, some of our subscribers, anybody that want to come on that don't know how it goes to go buy a house, what all the procedures they got to do, what they got to do with their credit, how much ahead of time they should plan to go buy a house, and are we in a time where is it a buyer's market or is it a seller's market? So we're gonna talk to you guys about all of that, and me and my brothers, we have the luxury to be able to have more than one home, so we can kind of enlighten you guys about it from our point of view of what we did and how we got to the place where we've got to about owning more than one homes. So I'm gonna start with Demby. You want to throw out a few tips out there we can help some of our subscribers, some people that come to the channel, information sometime, what they can do about getting a home?
Yes, definitely, with pleasure. I preface my comments by saying this. Buying a home is location, location, location. Location
Definitely.
determines, right? So with that being said, I think that your credit has to be up to par. And that simple means that you implement it in a system where you clear up any debts that you may have, or don't be above like a 9% threshold on credit cards or any kind of debt that you may run into. Try to keep below 50% if you do at all, which you do have to have some form of credit. So I'm saying don't have credit cards or don't have that you're trying to pay, but make sure to keep it with the region of a percentage where when your credit is run, they understand that, okay, this is someone who pay their bills on time and their credit score at the minimum 650. You want to get it up in the sevens and all of that. And like my brothers, they are experts, so they probably have theirs in the eights, you know. but you definitely, for anyone out there trying, However, if you're in the New York City area or New York City region, it is much more difficult.
Very.
When it comes to my house, right, the expense is much greater because now you're looking at houses that are ranging from within 550,000 to a million, 2 million, and so on and so forth. Now, what you could do, you could ask your realtor or your financial people about 50-year loans and stuff like that. I'm not an advocate of it. I'm no more traditional with 30-year, but you could ask for that. Depends on how your credit is running or depends on what your pocket is. Never buy a home that you cannot pay by yourself. Like a lot of times they'll tell you, New York, get this and you can rent out the basement, you can rent out the top, and no, don't do that because you put yourself in problem.
Big problem.
So you don't, big problem. So like my brother said earlier, we're fortunate to own multiple homes, and that's because of our money management, which starts off first. When you're thinking about a house, think about your money management, think about your credit, and think about the actions that you're doing leading up towards buying a house. And these are some of the best tips that I could give you, which my brothers will elaborate more on most of the stuff that's going on. But definitely location, location, location is the
Yeah.
tip that I have for you.
Yeah, man, definitely. Location is one of the biggest one of the biggest
fact.
assets of owning a home, because it could cost you when you want to sell, if you decide to sell. It could cost you being in a horrible location, being far away from where your job is, in a horrible school district. It all depends on, especially if you live in an area like in New York, it doesn't, the school district is not that big of a deal. But here in Virginia, you might go to jail if you send your kid to a different district school without permission. So you don't, you want to make sure that where you're living, you find the everything that you like there. Make sure that schooling is there, some playgrounds, all the stuff that you would like your kid to get involved in, or even if you don't have a kid that you would yourself would like to get involved in, make sure that it's close to you. Because you never know, you might want to take a stroll, you might have to run to get something sometimes early. And before I turn it over to Razor, I like to say, make sure before you buy a home, you should always keep in mind that this about a year out, start clearing up your debts and make sure you're not overspending yourself, because the more money you spend on paying for stuff is less money you have to use towards getting a home. And that can really it could really come in handy, or it could really work against you when it's time for you to buy a home. So, you have to make sure you make that decision before you actually step out there and start buying cars, start buying jewelries on your credit card. Like Danby said, now you owe $50,000 because you want to be blinged out. And they're not giving you no homes unless your pockets is steep. They're gonna be like, nah, buddy. Come back in about 10 years when you pay off that $50,000 worth of jewelry you bought. So, Razor, what you got to say, man? What's your tip for them?
Well, you kind of mentioned something just a while ago. The number one thing I would say to somebody, that if you're thinking of buying a house within a year, do not buy a car. If you go out and you buy a $40,000-$50,000 car, that right there will diminish what kind of house you will get significantly.
See, let me say something real quick. I don't know if you was gonna say it, but you can get the house, then get the car.
Yeah.
And the house won't work against you for the car, but the car will work against you for the house.
For the house, definitely.
Facts.
Definitely. So that's something right there that you need to take into consideration. Like you said, get the house first and then get the car. Number two, make sure your credit, like I know Denby touched on it a little bit, but make sure your credit is right. Make sure you have everything lined up. Do not go out and spend on unnecessary stuff. Don't go out and try to buy some Gucci bag or Chanel stuff or something that's gonna put your credit in the negative. You want to make sure you have everything in line, because when you go to a loan officer, all these information is going to come up. And if you have too much credit, if you're looking for, let's say in Virginia, we're looking for a $300,000 house, and you have all these credit, they might only approve you for like 180, two, if that, so the type of house you're going to be able to get is not going to be, up there in value when it comes to buying a house. So that the car is the big thing, because I see a lot of people make that mistake. Another thing I would have to say, I asked a lot of people, like, they feel like they cannot, get a house, or they feel like, they cannot do it. And my advice is you can do it. A lot of times I'll ask somebody and I say, how much you pay for your rent? And they'll tell me, and I'm like, you should have a house, because in actuality, you're paying more money than what I'm paying for your rent.
I've seen that all the time.
Yeah, you're paying more than me, So I'm like, yeah, you're paying what, $1,700, for your apartment. I feel like you should be able to get a house, So I think a lot of times it's just being misinformed, because you can do it, because the money that you're putting out into that apartment, you can get a house with it. You just have to have your credit in line and have everything else in line, and you should be just fine. It shouldn't be a problem. You should be able to go out, talk, go out. I encourage people to go out there and just get an idea, even if you're not doing anything. Just go out there and get the information. Because I tell you what, the last house that I bought, I had no intention of getting it, none, zero. I just went out there and I started looking, and I was like, man, this look nice. This, I like this, and I just started the process. Yeah,
That's
I just I just started the process, and I just went through it. So whenever you I encourage people, just go out there, get the information, talk to a realtor, talk to somebody, just go out there and just see what the process is. And before you know it, get your mind into that type of flow, and you might see, hey, I might be able to buy a house, and the next thing you be moving in your house. It did touch on, right now it's a seller's market. So if you're selling house,
I think it's both.
You think so?
Yeah, with the interest rate so low, I mean that's you still able to afford a lot more,
right?
Than you could a few years back, even when the interest rate was, because think about our interest rate compared to
what it was before.
3-4 years ago. The interest rate we got is ridiculous. We basically, to me, they're kind of like giving us the house for free.
Right. So when you look at it in that aspect,
kind of interest free.
Interest, yeah. So when you look at it in that aspect, right now, you could get in the interest rate right now as low as in the twos, twos, threes, when before is in the fours and 5, 6. So, so you're able to get a lot more for your money right now. You're able to get a lot, even though the houses are higher in value, you're still able to get a lot more value. Right. So, in essence, it kind of equal itself out when you look at it in that aspect, as you were saying before. But the house prices are definitely higher now. But with the interest rate, like you said, you'll get a lot more for your money because the interest rate is so low. When before you might, if you was paying $2,000, you might be paying $1,500 for that value of the home. So I say just go out there and do your research. Just ask questions, talk to a realtor, do something. Just don't be stagnant. Don't try to rent for the rest of your life, or it's the same money you're paying in the rent is you could put that in a house. We got to become homeowners, and that's the way to wealth. That's the number one way to creating financial success. So just go out there and do it. I encourage it.
Generational wealth. Definitely. I think that and no disrespect to people that are renting, and there's nothing wrong with renting. But if this is for people that wants to own a home, that you don't want to you just don't want to sit back, like he said, and be complacent. And I would definitely say, I have to correct myself. It's definitely more of a seller's market, because house prices have went up 25%, even though the interest rates are at an all-time low, which is great because it gives you more bang for your money. You're able to get thousands more of dollars to be able to spend. You have more buying power, I should say, because the interest rate is so low. But at the same time, for homeowners, if you want to sell, the market is booming for sales right now. So I would say I would say that you're right. I wouldn't put it like way up there. I think it's almost still equal. You can get a house for good prices. You can still get houses with great interest rate, but it's more of a seller's market than a buyer's market. And you could say it's both, because everybody is getting, you're able to get a piece of the pie. Now when you up north and you way over in the West Coast where they overprice these properties, you can buy a house in New York for $1 million, and that same $1 million house is $200,000-$300,000 down in the South, and a $1 million house in the South, that you're getting something extensive to live in. When in New York, you're getting the moderate recommendation. But my tip for you guys is you have to realize what your debt to income ratio is, and you have to start keeping that in mind. That's why when you hear Razor say go check with a realtor, go do that. Even when you're not ready to buy, just go check with a realtor, go talk to a finance company, and let them run your credit. Let them put some paperwork in front of you so you know where you stand, so that you know that if your object is to buy in a year, 6 months, or 2 years, you know what you need to save up to help for your down payment, and you know what to, maybe you need to work some overtime. So, to put yourself in a better perspective to get more of what you want. And I think that's definitely one of the keys to go. And I feel like I'm one of the person that studies credit. I'm real good with credit. Like I know how to manipulate my credit. I know what to do when I want my credit to go up. And I don't know if people realize that credit is probably your biggest aspect in America for you to be successful, because these rich guys don't spend their own money. They spend the bank's money, and you have to have credit to spend the bank's money. And sometimes you might need a loan to buy something that's $90,000. You may have the $90,000, but after you spend that $90,000 and buy it, how much money do you have after that? Nothing.
Right.
So you just used up all your money, and it can be lost. And now you use up the bank money, you lose the bank money. You can take your time and pay them back over years. After you lose your money, you just have to go rebuild that all over again. So, keep your credit in good. I think we all said that. Denby said it first, and Razor said it, and I'm saying it again. Make sure your credit is in good standard, or you won't be getting a house. That's just how it rolls. Unless you can come up with the cash to buy it, you won't be getting nothing. So keep that in mind, that your credit needs to be in. And if you want a great interest rate, make sure your credit's in great tip-top shape. Demi says like need a 650. I think it's like a 625 or a 635 for you to be able to qualify. But you want it up in the 700s so you can get the best interest rate they have to offer. So they won't come and tell you, the interest rate is 2.1, but we're gonna go ahead and give you a 4. You know how much money you're losing with that? You're losing thousands of dollars. So, and over the year, over the lifetime of the loan, like Denby said, we do 30 years. You do a 50 year, you probably paying for that house about 20 times. You don't pay for that house about 20, 25 times. So, I mean, it's up to you. But make sure when you're making these decisions, you keep these thoughts in your head that, hey, I would like to get my credit right. Razor said, go talk to some people. Then they would say location is key. And I would say basically the same thing what Razor was saying. Go out there and test run the water. Run the paperwork, see where you stand at, and see what you need to correct before it's time to change. What would you throw in real quick, Demi, before we roll out on them?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you guys brilliantly explained that. I just want the people to know that something like this, you watch this, don't keep it to yourself. This is information for free. People actually go to class online or in class and pay for information like this. We're giving you this information, location, your credit, keeping in good standards, and make sure that your debt to income ratio, like Sean P. and Mr. Razor mentioned. So those are just really to sum it all up for me, brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Razor, what you got to tell them before we roll out? Throw something at them real quick.
Just definitely go out there and try. Just do your homework, do the research, and just go out there and just be proactive. You get nothing done with being proactive. So I just encourage everyone, just go out there, just try it. Like you said, run the paperwork and just see where you stand. It doesn't hurt to try. It does not hurt. I like my parents tell me, what's the most somebody could say to you? No.
Nope.
And then and then what do I do after that? I go and I fix it. So if you go and you fail, now you know what direction you need to go and to move forward. So that's my advice.
Yeah, man. Be a Leah. At first, you don't succeed. I know y'all heard me say this before, but say it again. Dust yourself off and try again. Be a Leah. It's not hard to own a home. It actually sounds more difficult than it actually is. And I know plenty of people, I'm sure Demby and Razor can attest that they have helped plenty of their friends in our age group and younger to be homeowners because they didn't know how easy the process was. And because they thought it was so hard, they thought it was undoable. And when we explained to them what was going on, they're own homers, own homers. I know a guy right now that's about 24, and he owns 2 homes and it's not because he's rich, it's because he's smart. And the teaching didn't just come from us. It came from his parents. It came from him doing what Mr. Razor said, going out there and being proactive, asking questions, putting himself in situations that he can be able to do this. Now, imagine when this guy get to about 30, he can own about maybe 2 or 3 more properties. So,
Definitely.
Keep up with that stuff, people. Go out there and listen to everything we say. And then we just put y'all into some game. People pay for this advice. I paid for this advice and I'm giving it to y'all for free. You know what I'm saying? I paid for this advice. I took a course online for this advice. So, just giving this to y'all. There's a lot more stuff that we could tell y'all, but we just want to sum it up to this. And if you like it and you want to hear more, we can do a part 2, 3, 4, and we can walk y'all through exact steps that you need to. But we just wanted to throw this out there to y'all, man. We the AGP family, man. We always here for each other. We all we got. Anything Goes podcast, man. It's your boy Sean Peoples. I'm here with Mr. Razor. I'm here with Demby and my brothers, and we giving y'all knowledge on stuff that we know for a fact that work. We're not speculating. We have done this. We did this. So try it out. See if it works out for you. Jump in the inbox. Our email address is up there. So if you want to reach out to us, to get to us any way you need to, shout us an email and you can get to us. It's the Anything Goes podcast, man. You like the vibe, like the movement, like, subscribe, share, comment in the comment section, hit the notification bell, jump in the community tab and vote. Man, we out of here, man.